Erastus Johnson was born in a logging camp in Lincoln, Maine in 1826. After growing up and teaching school for about 6 years, at the age of 23 he began preparing to become a gospel preacher. Well, during this time his health failed and threatened him with the loss of his sight, and this compelled him to give up preparation for the ministry. On the advice of his physician, he took a sea voyage, embarking on the ship the Gold Hunter, en route from New York to California. During this voyage, the crew of the ship mutinied just before rounding Cape Horn, and as Johnson was the only person on board who knew anything about navigation other than the captive officers, he was pressed into service to take the ship on to its destination of San Francisco. This he was able to do successfully. Not being a seeker after California's newfound gold, he was variously a rancher in California, a farmer in Washington state, and then was in the oil business in Pennsylvania for some 20 years, but then was again a farmer in Maine until his retirement and death in Waltham, Massachusetts. He was always, though, interested in the work of the church and was a lifelong student of the Bible, a powerful speaker and a great poet, even though he never considered himself a preacher. One of the poems that he wrote was inspired by Psalm 61 in verse 2, which says, "From the end of the earth will I call unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I." From this passage he wrote these words: "Oh, sometimes the shadows are deep, and rough seems the path to the goal, and sorrows, how often they sweep like tempests down over the soul. Oh, sometimes how long seems the day, and sometimes how weary my feet, but toiling in life's dusty way, the rock's blessed shadow how sweet. Oh, near to the rock let me keep, if blessings or sorrow prevail, or climbing the mountain way steep, or walking the shadowy vale. Oh, then to the rock let me fly, to the rock that is higher than I. Oh, then to the rock let me fly, to the rock that is higher than I." Friends, we should often think of the rock of our salvation, that being our Savior, Jesus. But in what ways is Jesus higher than I? Well, when we consider the deity of Christ, we see that he is higher than I. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the same was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him was not anything made that hath been made. John 1 verses 1 through 3. Friends, Jesus is not just a man, though he was fully man when on earth. Jesus is God, for in him were all things created in the heavens and upon the earth, things visible and things invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things have been created through him and unto him, and he is before all things, and in him all things consist. Colossians 1 verses 16 and 17. No such thing could ever be said of a mere man. Truly, Jesus, the rock of our salvation, is higher than I because of his deity. Jesus is higher than I in his knowledge. The Apostle Paul writes of him that in him are all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge hid. Colossians 2 and verse 3. Isaiah wrote of the coming Messiah, "And the Spirit of Jehovah shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of Jehovah." Isaiah 11 and verse 2. Jesus knows much more than I could ever know. Jesus knows everything, even what other men are thinking. But Jesus did not trust himself unto them, for that he knew all men concerning man, for he himself knew what was in man. John 2, 24 and 25. So yes, Jesus is higher than I in knowledge. Also, Jesus is higher than I in power. Fact of the matter is, he has all power. And Jesus came to them and spake unto them, saying, "All authority hath been given unto me in heaven and on earth." Matthew 28 and verse 18. Friends, I can't say that. Can you? The New Testament teaches that Jesus' power is so complete that he is able even to subject all things unto himself. Philippians 3 and verse 21. For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. Friends, we also see that Jesus is higher than I in that he is an object of men's faith and is worthy of worship. And Jesus is higher than I, because he is the only way to God. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one cometh unto the Father but by me. Yes, friends, truly, we need to be led to the rock that is higher than I. Thank you for joining us for our program today, and have a blessed day.